attention to the county now, and for that we turn to a new commissioner with the county. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Mark Harmon with us this morning.
Pleasure.
When you look at coming into this body, what do you hope to do over the next 12 months?
Well, one of the most important issues I want to bring up is sprawl. We are pushing the limits of our resources. Our own Metropolitan Planning Commission is saying that we are cutting into 25% slopes and running out of good places to put things. And instead of doing that, we should be moving things closer to the center city. We should be finding ways to revitalize not just downtown, but close to city neighborhoods. And we haven't been doing that, and we could.
Well, let's see.
I'll ask you the question I just asked Rob about finances. Now, the county, we've got the improved pension for the sheriff's deputies. What's that going to mean for financing all the things, especially schools, that the county commission has to come up with money for?
Well, I was one of 3 commissioners to vote against putting it on the ballot for 2 reasons. First, it's very expensive. Actually, 3 reasons. It's very expensive. We shouldn't be amending a charter we're not sure exists. And the final reason was that we have alternatives like rolling into the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System rather than starting a brand new expensive fund. But now that we have that burden, it's going to be a great difficulty to do things. Not to mention the cost of something like the Midway Business Park. $57 million over these many years going to be spent on an unneeded business park over a sinkhole and over community objections. That's going to really be a drain on us as well. Bad choices leading to financial troubles.
The real elephant in the room here is the decision by the Supreme Court. Is that going to really hold things back? Where do you see the commission going with that still out? And
I don't think it'll hold things back, but when it comes in, it will shake things up. Because clearly, 8 of the 19 are, by most understandings of the law, term limited and shouldn't be there. And I ran against a fellow who was term limited and beat him. And these kinds of issues, respecting the will of the voters on term limits, is going to come back sometime this year, we hope soon, and it's going to lead to something, an election decision. Even if the local decision is upheld and the charter is thrown out, then we have all these things that we put into the charter that we're going to have to reconfigure. I think it's more likely the charter will be upheld along with the term limits, and then it's going to be a rather dramatic shakeup in county politics.
Were you surprised that you were really the only one who was able to overcome the hump, and yet there was all this talk about, well, we should throw them out if they're not going to live up to their promise, and that really didn't happen?
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 things. A couple of people who were term limited did lose in the primaries. But in the general election, you're right, I was the only one who was able to overcome that. I credit friends and family who helped me campaign, but I also credit the fact that others weren't able. There were some really good candidates running because a number of people, while they wanted term limits, were not willing to cross party lines to express their opposition.
There has been, kind of an interesting relationship between County Commission and the school board, and we've got several new schools coming online. Is that better now? You've been there a short while. Do you sense that County Commission and the school board are working together now?
I think there's hope on the horizon there. I think we have some very good school board members, and I'm serving on the Magnet Schools Task Force. I'm the only County Commission member on that. And I see some very good cooperation that could come out of that as well. There's hope there, but there's going to be a problem. Our schools are not properly funded. We're behind the state average and behind the national average on per pupil spending. And yet we have all these other things that quite properly have been pointed out are really going to be a drag on the county budget and being able to do things for schools and libraries.
Why are we spending the money on the Midway Industrial Park or whatever it's called when you're just telling us we don't have enough money to run the schools?
Because too frequently our county government gives in to the whims of developers. And the corporate welfare that we have doled out over the past few years is going to come home to roost this year, and it's going to create problems this year and several years down the line.
What other problems with the growth factor do you see? You mentioned a few, but that sounds like an issue that's very close to your heart and one that you want to focus on.
Well, uncontrolled growth in the human body is called cancer. We have to have a smart and sensible growth policy. We can't just say anything with the label growth behind it is good. It isn't necessarily so. We have to have a smart growth policy that includes a better approach to environmentalism, a better approach to schools, and simply less sprawl, because sprawl really, to be a community that's listed on the 10 worst sprawl zones, we should be paying attention to this, and we're not.
How about the mayor's relationship with the commission? Do you get a sense that that's been tainted over the last few months, and is that going to be repaired, do you think, going forward, or where do we sit with that?
Well, I think it tends to get overplayed that it's personal. I think personally the commissioners, regardless of party, regardless of ideology, and the mayor get along reasonably well. Okay? But in terms of public policy, there are going to be differences. And I've supported the mayor on some issues and opposed him on others, and I think other commissioners have done the same. But there are going to be some clashes. There are going to be some differences in point of view. Healthy ones, I hope.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Commissioner Mark Harmon joining us, and we're going to talk state politics right after this.